What's going on, Maniacs? Today I'm going to be showing you how to winterize the Honda Aquatrax F-15X Turbo. We're going to be starting right now. I'm going to start with the Honda Aquatrax F-15X, and that one you got to change the oil first. Alright, so in order to change the oil in the Honda Aquatrax, it's best to warm it up for 10 minutes so that the oil gets warmed up and nice and thin. Alright, while we're waiting for the 10-minute mark, just show you some of the materials and tools I'm going to need for this process. First and foremost, fogging oil. I put brand new plugs in this year, so I'm going to put my old plugs in so I don't foul my nice new plugs. You're going to need some lubricant like XPS or CRC 656. You're going to need some fuel stabilizer. You're going to need some silicone lubricant for your rubber hoses so they don't crack and corrode. Don't use WD-40. WD-40 will shorten their lifespan. And you're going to need oil filter and 4.3 liters of GN4 oil, or your preference. I prefer Honda personally. The pink stuff, that's for winterizing my green machine. You don't need to use that in the Honda because it's a coolant system. It all drains when the machine is level. That's a feature that the previous generation, the R12 and the F12s, did not have. Alright, so we're over 10-minute mark now, so now I'm going to kill the hose, then kill the motor. I'll flip the throttle a few times just to spit out some of the water from the exhaust. It's time to hook up the oil extractor and start sucking away. Alright, so before the machine's warmed up, this oil reservoir is basically dry. That's why you warm it up first. Makes it easier to get the oil out. So I siphon all this out. Then I take out this dipstick and siphon more out from there. So at the end of every season, I do an oil change and an oil filter change. And so when you're doing that process, it needs 4.3 liters of oil. No more, no less. But you always end up taking out way more than that because the fuel gets into the oil. So right now I'm towards the end of my extraction of the oil, and we're approaching the 5-liter mark. That's 5.1 liters there. It's still siphoning strong. 5.1 there, 3.4 there. So I'm still extracting oil. I've easily taken out an extra liter more than what I put in at the end of last season. And with a newborn in the family, I maybe put 20 hours on it this season. So goes to show you, if you're planning to ride extensively, change the oil every 50 hours. Otherwise, change it at the end of the season. Whatever comes first, 50 hours or end of season. You see, the fuel getting into your oil acts as a solvent. It will clean the oil off of any sort of bearings that you have in there, which will lead to catastrophic failure if it's not addressed. So check back in once this oil is all out. Alright, so we finally reached the end. The bottom of my oil reservoir. See the bubbles. And the tally is we've taken out about 5.8 liters. That's 5.1. That would be about 5.9. So yeah, about 5.8 liters we took out. So that's an extra 1.5 liters of oil in there since my last oil change. So yeah, change your oil end of season or every 50 hours, folks. Your engine will thank you for it later. Now the beauty of these Hondas is the oil filters right at the top. So if you've got strong forearms, you can do it by hand. Otherwise, use the oil filter wrench. Does this thing come off or no? Oh yeah, there it goes. Ugh. Alright, so brand new Honda genuine oil filter. There's the part number 15410 MFJD02. And a little bit of oil left in there. Get there, get your finger wet, and lube up the O-ring. Oh Lord. Yeah. Melts in your mouth. Now, the beauty of these machines, you can use the same oil filter. They're interchangeable. So whatever one's cheaper in your neck of the woods, either the Kawasaki 15F or the Honda Aquatrax, use that in both. Alright, now to give it some fresh oil. Alright, now it's time to add in the new oil. Nobody wants to do math on the fly, so measure ahead of time. 1 US gallons, 3.8 liters. Fill one of these to the halfway mark, 500 milliliters. That way you just pour. No thinking required. Alright, next step, you gotta lube up the turbo and the wastegate. Spray doesn't want to work. Much easier to spray this stuff with the hose taken off, and you cover more surface area. Alright, all nice and shiny. Very good. Alright, so now we're going to lubricate the throttle body through this little glory hole. Close the throttle slowly. Add a little more lube. And open and close the throttle. Now we've changed the oil and lubed the throttle body. Now it's time to add some fogging oil and put crappier plugs in there so that when you fire up in spring you don't foul your nice new plugs. Connecting the injectors. Now I'm going to take out the covers. Plugs are out, now we're ready for some fogging oil. up and circulate it. I don't like that. Where's my spark plugs? Only a little bit came out. The rest circulated through. Alright, now let's put the old plugs in. Yeah, I can bring you the baby.
Why? Why do you make that face?
The camera's recording. Now they all know I got the baby with me. Daddy can be trusted with baby. Make sure that baby embraces the cold, so he's a real sled neck when he's older. Alright, the third last step before you add fuel stabilizer and remove the battery is use silicone lubricant like anything rubber. Don't use WD-40. WD-40 will make it crack, degrade. This stuff will prolong the life of your rubber hoses, so you don't have to worry about your cooling hose giving out when you're in the middle of nowhere. Alright, so adding fuel stabilizer and removing the battery to trickle charge it every month is pretty standard. I don't think I need to walk you through that. So with that, I think we'll wrap this up. Appreciate you taking the time to check this out, and if you like what you see, please hit that like button and comment below if you have any questions.